Coming up on your news at 5, protest in Los Angeles as President Donald Trump deploys the National Guard. We have the latest developments. And the Supreme Court is set to hand down new rulings on issues facing Americans. We take a look back at the past week to see what rulings they made. Then the May jobs report was released. We break down which sectors gained and lost jobs.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Thank you for watching your news at 5. A third straight day of protests began Sunday today in Los Angeles, where crowds gathered by midday in downtown and Boyle Heights in protest of recent immigration raids. They included demonstrators who marched from Boyle Heights who briefly dispersed outside the Metropolitan Detention Center after authorities deployed what appeared to be tear gas. The marchers joined a crowd of about 3 dozen that gathered earlier outside the federal building, which is being guarded by members of the National Guard. About 300 National Guard members arrived in Los Angeles this morning, after 2 days of protests. President Trump moved to send 2,000 members to crack down on unrest and guard federal property in Los Angeles. Both Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom have objected to President Trump's decision to deploy National Guard members to LA. And the Supreme Court has been busy handing down opinions and will be releasing more tomorrow. Ryan Henson has a look back at the past week and the rulings they handed down.
The Supreme Court issued 3 rulings that will impact future cases. An Ohio woman sued the state, saying she was passed up for a promotion because she's straight. The justices all agreed the woman's civil rights were violated because of this reasoning. This case makes it easier for future reverse discrimination cases to be heard. The 9 justices have also unanimously ruled on Catholic Charities v. Wisconsin, which focuses on the separation of church and state. The justices say the charity is entitled to tax relief it was denied because its operations were not primarily religious. This decision could expand eligibility for religious tax exemptions. In a third case, all the justices agreed to throw out the lawsuit brought on by the Mexican government against gun maker Smith & Wesson. Mexico argued that the gun manufacturer was worsening violence in the country, but justices cited a 2005 law that shields gun companies from legal liability. Justice Elena Kagan acknowledged Mexico's struggles with gun violence, but she says the country's lawyers didn't present an argument that surmounted those legal protections. I'm Ryan Henson at the Supreme Court. Now back to you.
And it's been a pretty rainy start to our weekend, or ending to our weekend. Hey, Robert, what can we expect for tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, things should start to clear up. We've saw a few breaks today, even had a little bit of rain and hail in southern Anchorage, I should say, and that was just in the afternoon, right around noon to 1 o'clock. Right now, we are seeing those cloudy skies and those rainy conditions along much of the West Coast. We're also seeing some showers in the valley. Temperatures on the cool side, but temperatures will warm up and the rain will start to subside in the next 48 hours. Right now, some cloudiness right above us, some low stratus clouds, high 56, low 45, normally 62 and 47. So at least a little bit warmer than the odds yesterday. It was very, very chilly yesterday. Cloudy and showers tonight, 42, southwest winds at 5 miles per hour. And as we take a look in the interior, again, they're seeing some clouds and some showers, especially in the southern part of the interior, Eagle, we're also Nenana, and we're going to see that also taper off too as high pressures start to change the pattern. So for Anchorage, looking at mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, and with it, a few showers likely, but then we will see some things really taper off there as we get into tomorrow night. And then for Fairbanks, partly cloudy, 63, 53 for Juneau. They're going to still see some rain, but mostly in the form of rain showers and cloudiness. And mostly cloudy for Bethel and 49 degrees. So there is a change coming to Delmy, and most of it is on the positive side if you like more sunshine and less rain.
Oh, I look forward to that. Thank you so much, Robert. The May job report was released Friday, and it showed that the labor market has remained resilient with slightly better than expected numbers. Stetson Miller has more on the report.
The Labor Department reported Friday that the U.S. added 139,000 jobs last month, while unemployment remained at 4.2%. The report reflected that hiring remained steady amid economic uncertainty surrounding President Donald Trump's tariffs.
The report seems to indicate that the economy is pretty stable.
University of Maryland finance professor David Cass said while hiring is slightly slowed from the previous month, the numbers paint a reasonably good picture of the country's economy.
I would say the economy is proceeding at a satisfactory pace. The economy continues to grow.
President Trump and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt boasted about the job numbers on social media, saying the president's agenda has created a booming economy, despite most economists not characterizing the report that way. The growth occurred mostly in healthcare, hospitality, and social assistance, while some sectors lost jobs like retail, manufacturing, and government. Looking ahead, Cass says hiring managers likely will be influenced by what happens with the president's tariffs.
It seems to be an economy in waiting.
And after this jobs report was released, the president made new calls for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, but it's likely going to take its time and gather more data before making any more cuts. In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Still to come on the news at 5, our road tripping crew in Seward gets a tour of the historic city. You won't want to miss the sights. Later, the Special Olympic Games kicked off. We bring you to the action.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Welcome back. We are road tripping in Seward. Tracy Sinclair and Lauren Maxwell decided to learn a little bit more about this coastal town.
As we got off the Coastal Classic train, we were met by our city tour guide, Jonah Swiderski, the owner and operator of Seward City Tours.
History is a passion of mine, and this is a wonderful little town. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit about the history of Seward, my history with Seward, and what makes it such an endearing town for me. And really, my goal is always to try to convince somebody to move on up here. So I get lots of people through, and one of these days you're going to see me driving around with a little stamp on the side showing I've recruited one from the lower 48.
Jonah wants to make one thing clear.
Facts and knowledge about an area, but there's also local knowledge about an area, and sometimes those things do not coincide. And so some of the information I'll give to you today, if you look it up online, if you're fact-checking me on Wikipedia and whatnot, you might find some slightly different numbers. I promise you my numbers and information is correct and theirs is wrong.
Our first stop is the Benny Benson Memorial.
Seward's a great little town. We're a small town, and yet we've played a big role in the development of Alaska, creating an identity for Alaska. And our first stop here is going to be at the Benny Benson Memorial, which is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. True north, not magnetic north, crucial to travelers, navigators, sailors. You know, Benny Benson hoped that star would help guide us to statehood. And it did eventually.
We drive through the cute little town to the waterfall, learning how that impacts the environment, and of course, stopping by milepost 0 of the historic Iditarod Trail. And we learn about the impact of the Great Alaska Earthquake on this seaside town. The 9.1 earthquake shook South Central, and many coastal communities were hammered by the deadly tsunami.
A lot of communities in Alaska endured both of those events. What made Seward different was the third event. Because of this railroad industry, we had massive tank farms along our coastline full of diesel, aviation gas, petroleum products that were being sent into the interior. The shaking had ripped those tanks open, the contents spilling out. As wires got crossed from all that shaking and from the earthquake itself, fires had started. The petroleum product is now on fire. Our entire coastline is catching fire. When that tsunami came through, it didn't put out those fires, but instead lifted all that burning petroleum and spread it through our towns.
One noticeable addition to the town are the brightly colored paintings on many buildings.
Without realizing it, you have stepped into the mural capital of Alaska. What's really fun about these murals, though, is that the Mural Society hires a primary artist to come in and design the mural itself. They come in, they design it, they sketch it out.
But it's the locals who make it come to life.
To do a giant paint by numbers. So it's actually the community that paints these murals. And I will point out that this particular mural, the The master artist was Susan Swiderski, and that's my mother. So that's my mother's mural there. It's very conveniently located on my route. If it was somewhere way out, she'd still force me to go drive by it.
It's clear our tour guide is knowledgeable and loves this town.
I've been able to travel all over the world, explore lots and lots of areas. Seward's home. It's always brought me back.
Road tripping in Seward. Tracy Sinclair, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.